Guys, a new team is entering the chat for Justin Fields. The Las Vegas Raiders. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the Raiders are likely one of the teams interested in Justin Fields. We've heard of Atlanta, we've heard of Pittsburgh, we've heard of Minnesota, but not the Raiders. Your thought on the Raiders possibly trading for Justin Fields?
Well, going in, what? O'Connell's going to be their starter as of now, right?
They don't have a quarterback.
Right. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
It really does. So, yeah, I'd be, if I'm the Raider fan, I'd say, yeah, because we're not going to be able to probably get somebody we want. And, unless they go they're not getting Kirk Cousins. They're not getting a veteran because a veteran's not going to go there and compete with Mahomes in that division and compete with Harbaugh and whoever Denver's going to come up with.
The funny thing is, first of all, I'm with you. I think Antonio Pierce would love to get him. I think that he would his career would take off. Now, with all these teams who want him, it amazes me there's one team that doesn't. Team he's on. Imagine if they flipped the number one pick, got a Herschel Walker deal. For that number one pick, you can get 3 more number one picks. You already have a second number one pick at pick number 9. Like, you could really help yourself, but Chicago is so afraid of passing on Caleb Williams. But they actually did themselves a favor. Remember, they traded out of the pick last year because of Bryce Young.
Yeah.
They looked pretty smart because Bryce Young wasn't that good.
Don't you think they're afraid of making the same mistake they made when they Trubisky instead of Mahomes?
Possibly, but
I know
Stoney, it happens. But you have a command. It's not like you have a quarterback that nobody wants. Like, other teams are saying, we will take this man, and you're only going to get probably a second round pick, or you wise up and let Caleb he's just generational talent. Like, no, he's a quarterback, and David, I'm sorry. I've got on a tangent.
No, you're fine, because it's going to lead into another discussion, which is still about the Bears, which is Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, because it's all together. Because Caleb Williams, we all know by now, he decided not to do anything at the Combine. Well, reports are coming out that this is going to delay the process of trading Fields and maybe trading the first-round pick, depending on what they do, because he didn't do any medicals. So now teams won't be willing to trade for the first-round pick if they don't have medicals on Caleb Williams, or trade for Justin Fields because free agency will start and they'll have to continue with building their roster and can't trade for Justin Fields because they're waiting on the Bears.
This once again goes back to what I said. Why was he there? What are you here for? They don't have Candy out in L.A.?
Is he going to do any pro days like the Bears?
He will, but then he'll have to do medicals for each team that wants to talk to him individually.
Well, he said, how about this? Just get one doctor and say you can share the information with the other 32 doctors.
Someone you trust.
Our health plan
Yes.
Right. Like, okay.
one doctor, as long as they're in network.
Let's be real. The Lions probably aren't going to be working him out. And so you're probably looking at about 5 teams that are legitimately, these 5, okay, here's my medical report. Either you're injured or you're not. But this was the biggest waste of time. I know people fell in love with the fact that he's so happy and jovial. Go home. Go home.
Well,
so, yes, he's already screwing over the Bears. And you know what? The Bears deserve it. If they're this stupid that you're going to let somebody who's not even on your team dictate what's going on, you deserve everything you get.
Yeah, they kind of do deserve it here. So let's talk about running backs here. We know on this show we don't pay running backs, or we don't even draft them in the first round. But let's talk about this for a second, because ESPN did an article based on who is most likely to earn the double-digit average they want. There's a lot of big-name running backs here. You got Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, and Tony Pollard. Where any of them get the double digits that they're looking for, like $12 million a year.
If I was to give one of them double digits, you might disagree. It would be, for me, it'd be Derrick Henry, because I just think he is just so freaking good. He can do everything, and he's tough as hell.
He can still do that.
And you know what the funny thing is? When you go back after everything you know about Derrick Henry, wasn't a first round pick.
That's right.
Was it a first-round pick? Because I'm going back looking through that draft like, well, where's Derrick Henry? Wow, he was not a first-round pick, not even a high second-round pick. I would say whoever goes to Dallas, because I think the Cowboys, Jerry Jones is going to overpay, and I think it's going to be for Derrick Henry. It's going to sell a lot of tickets. Also, if staying in the state of Texas, this is the smartest fit for me. If Saquon goes to the Texans, he will enhance that team. You'll give C.J. Stroud a great safety valve to already go with everything that they have.
Yeah, right. Nico Collins and Tank Dell when he comes back from being healthy.
They have the money that they can overpay for Saquon and kind of turn Saquon into their Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, you're going to help us to that next level. So those two, David.
So let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. They sit at number 4. There was a lot of buzz going around during the combine regarding whether they trade out of 4 because they need a lot of pieces on their roster. It's pretty bare. So would you trade out of 4 or would you stay at 4 and just take Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I would trade out. I mean, they traded out last year. It didn't quite work the way they thought it was going to work because that was the Texans. Yeah, they traded with the Texans.
Yes.
Because they thought the Texans would be bad, so they would end up with like 2 top 5 picks. Texans were good, but you still have 2 picks. Yes. Because there's so many receivers out there, I like Marvin Harrison, but I don't think that Marvin Harrison is him, where it's just him and nobody else. You can get a good receiver.
If you were to get Neighbors and extra picks.
You can get Neighbors.
Roma Dunze.
You can get a Dunze, and you can get extra picks. They need help out there. They have a lot of holes to fill. I would trade that pick, especially the Giants are sitting there at 6. So even if you just swap, you probably can still get Marvin Harrison at 6.
Right, and you could probably get another. I don't think you're going to get a second to move down to.
Oh, no. If I'm trading with the Giants, we're swapping,
right.
And I got your first rounder next year.
Well, then if I'm the Cardinals, I would definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So yeah,
because think about it, I think with the whole chart, that's what it's worth.
Yes.
Is we're swapping, and I get your number 1, or I get your second pick for the next 2 years. Something like that. So you're going to make this worth my while if you want your franchise QB.
Watch out for Atlanta at 8. If they're going to trade up, if they want a quarterback.
We giving up on Desmond Ridder already?
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. There'll be more on the trade-up possibilities later in the show. But let's end this here with an emotional.
Hold on. Before we end with your emotional thing, NFL, if they pass this rule, I'll give them credit for being smart again. Because we need this. But it is possible. One of the rule changes, in the fourth quarter, if you're down, you will be allowed to do onside kicks again. Not like the onside kicks that you saw the Lions try to do, but real onside kicks where you can get, flood one side of the field. You can try to get the ball back.
But you have to tell them. You can't be a surprise.
Well, then what's the point?
Exactly.
All right. You know what? You're not as smart. David, go ahead.
Yeah, let's finish it off with an emotional story here. Stoney, you'll probably be sad and cry like everyone, right, when they watch this. Jason Kelce had a press conference and announced his retirement. He cried. Everyone in the room cried. We were supposed to cry, apparently, according to social media.
According to social media. Like, if you're not crying, you just don't have a heart. I guess I need to go see the wizard.
I didn't even watch the whole thing. I was obviously... when the word leaked out and he denied that he told anybody, after the game
in the locker room,
locker room after the when they were knocked out of the playoffs. Yes, exactly. When they lost to Tampa. Look, he's going to the Hall of Fame. I don't know if he's first ballot, but he's a great player.
We're going to see him still on our TV screen though next year. He'll be on somebody's network.
Yeah, he's too entertaining,
and he should.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
Funny, he's entertaining. And don't forget, I believe WrestleMania is in Philadelphia this year.
And I'd rather see him. I'm not anticipating Brady. I'd rather see him. That's just me. But, yeah.
People forgot who recruited him in Cincinnati, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rico,
Mark D'Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of his underrated people. So
it definitely was, and that is in football today.